these numbers are true. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to let you know, my name is Dave Hodges. I'm the host of the Common Sense Show. We are the show that's freeing America one enslaved mind at a time. Yes, we do more of these Noble Gold commercials. I'll break this coin out, but if you order a Noble Gold IRA, qualifying RA, you get this coin, 5-ounce Apollo 11, totally silver. This is unbelievably beautiful. This is something that I'll treasure forever, and it's valuable. It's worth some money. Now let's talk about why you want a Noble Gold IRA. The Noble Gold IRA is absolutely fantastic, ladies and gentlemen, and I do mean that sincerely. I look at the Noble Gold IRA this way. You're working for your business and they let you go during COVID, but they're still making the money off your IRA and you're not getting squat. Or your business goes under and your IRA disappears and neither one of you gets squat. And the next thing to go will be your bank. Oh yes, you're going to hear me talk later this evening or tomorrow about how leveraged the banks are with refis, and those refis are, well over half of them are going to fail, and these banks are going to fail. So ladies and gentlemen, this is something that you really need to look to get out of, the banks, and you need to get into gold and silver with Noble Gold. And you're saying, well, Dave, what qualifies you to talk about this? That's a good question. Thank you. I was an advertiser for 4 years. Now I'm a customer, a happy customer. And you get your Noble Gold IRA, this coin is almost worth the price. But the thing is your IRA will be backed by gold. And gold held its value for 6,000 years. How long has your company held their value? These banks are in big trouble, folks. Give them a call, 877-646-5347. If you've got assets to protect, Noble Gold is the place to be, 877-646-5347. We'll see if I can pull this up now. Let's put it this way, my internet is not behaving nicely right now, and here we go. 2020 Republicans mocking email to an obscure email that I've had. Of course, it's AOL. I shouldn't be surprised, but I want you to listen to these numbers. This is shocking. Prepare for the worst, Republicans. Ha ha ha. First, top forecasters project Biden defeating Trump. I know that's propaganda. Then, top forecasters projected Biden has outraised Trump by over $150 million. You know, I don't know if I believe that, but I will tell you this. Black Lives Matter and Antifa and their donations from corporate America, they're all being funneled into the Democratic Party, as well as NEA, National Education Association. So it wouldn't surprise me, and that tells you who your enemies are. Now, the Democrats have a huge early voting lead in battleground states. What kind of votes are those, ladies and gentlemen? Those are mail-in ballots. Mail-in ballots. All right, so let me read to you the rest of this message, and this should get your ire up a little bit. We are advocating that you switch and come over to our side, and for every dollar you donate, we'll activate an emergency 600% donation matching. So if I were to give $1 to the Bolshevik Party masquerading as Democrats today, they would match that with $6. And with the help of grassroots oh my gosh, patriots? They're calling themselves patriots. Patriots. See, rule number 13, refer to your enemy and accuse them of doing what you're doing. Okay? And they say you have 12 hours to make a decisive impact in this race. And now I have a clock down here. It says I have 17 hours. Claim your 600% match. The point of this message is to convey to you that Trump has a major issue with voting fraud. Mail-in ballots are being doctored. I do believe the early lead, they're being doctored. And the only way we can overcome it is make it so much of a landslide that no amount of cheating can win. Otherwise, I got to be honest with you, what I'm seeing with the Democrats, we've got FEMA powers being enacted by Governor DeWine, and he thinks he has the right to put people in isolation camps of unknown locations because they test COVID positive, or they have maybe, keyword, been exposed to said virus. This is not right. I will not go. I don't go. We found that you were in the store and there's somebody in there had. No, I'm not going. I'm not going. You'll have to kill me. This is something that is totally out of whack. There are lawsuits being leveled as I speak against DeWine in Ohio. This is modeled on what they did in New Zealand, and I warned you. Watch New Zealand. By the way, I'm interviewing an activist from New Zealand on the TV show later this morning. CommonSenseShow.tv. That's right. An activist from New Zealand. He's going to tell it like it is. And there's some poop going on there that is going to come here. And as I predicted, when they started isolating people, when they had a total of 4 cases in New Zealand, and this communist prime minister said, this is what we're doing. I'm not saying we shouldn't take precautions against COVID, but what they're doing is they're incarcerating innocent people who don't even have the virus. And now DeWine is going to do that? Oh, really? So, you were in the building the same day as, yeah, and I'm testing negative. You still got to go. That's called an illegal arrest. There's nothing about public health there. Because literally, every time you go into a place, a doorknob, a door, a chair, a table, a toilet plunger has been touched by someone with COVID and you're coming into contact with it, including the Walmart, box stores, Costco, and so forth during the absolute lockdown. So this is so wrong. We're all for reasonable precautions. Look at how many people are wearing their masks, without question. They throw people out on the streets who won't wear their mask. I'm surprised they don't dump them out of airplanes at 35,000 feet, but they have turned the plane around to land to get rid of someone who wouldn't wear a mask. So people are complying. Why do we have to go Gestapo? DeWine. This is crazy. And our economy is racing towards Armageddon. That's why you need to get into the Noble Gold, 877-646-5347. You might want to sign up for the CommonSenseShow.tv, and I'm going to start interviewing people from Australia and New Zealand. It'll be like watching a time machine. Here's what's coming, boys and girls. We've already predicted one event. We're about ready to predict some more. We'll see you back here next time. Give us a thumbs up. Okay? Please hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so, and leave the notifications tab open.
Your smartphone does a lot, but when you're in danger and seconds count, it can only show you that police are minutes away. Your safety is your responsibility. Don't let Joe Biden weaken your right to self-defense. Defend your family. Defeat Joe Biden.
Climate craziness on full display in LA, where Mayor Eric Garcetti is begging people to turn down their air conditioners while a heat wave scorches the city with temperatures as high as 120 degrees. The mayor getting mocked for tweeting, "It's almost 3 p.m. Time to turn off your major appliances, set the thermostat to 78 degrees, turn off excess lights, and unplug any appliances you're not using." Greg, I mean, this is embarrassing. They can't open salons, they can't open restaurants, they can't keep the lights on. What's happening out there?
One of the bare minimum expectations of a government is that it can keep the lights on. And this is an incredibly wealthy state. The people are overtaxed, they're handicapped by punitive policies, and they can't keep the lights on. So I have an idea. When you think of monopolies, you always think of one company that has the entire market share, right? And they get to set the prices, but more important, they get to treat the customer like crap because you don't have any competition, right? Well, California is a monopoly in its mindset. It's a singular left-wing orthodoxy that sets the punitive taxes and sets the punitive policies, and the customer, i.e. the citizen in California, is screwed. So what do you do with monopolies? You break them up. California needs to be broken up so that there are smart areas of the country can govern themselves. Orange County, for example, they don't need to be hooked up with Marin County. You don't need to be dragged down by those idiots. You could split California up probably 4-5 different ways. There'll still be great places to visit. You'll still have a coast, but at least people will be able to enjoy their lives instead of this crazy nutso stuff.
Well, hopefully we can gerrymander it so we can get, more red states out of it. Dana, a lot of complicated factors mixed in here. You have, record high temperatures. You have a grid that's never been updated. You have overregulation of the utilities. They've done almost everything wrong.
Well, I don't think that the mayor deserved the mockery, actually. I think that they're in a crisis where they need to flatten the curve, so to speak, on their electricity use while they're in the middle of a crisis with these record hot temperatures, and asking people to do a little bit to get through it. I don't think is that bad, at least in the short term. It's the long-term problem for California that, as you just touched on, the grid issue in particular. Part of the other thing is that you have all of these fires, and one of the problems that Californians love to talk about is climate change. What happens when you have massive forest fires that burn 2 million acres of forest? It throws a whole bunch of carbon up into the atmosphere, and that's all happening on public lands. The private landowners are the ones who are actually, replanting, figuring out a way to be responsible and be smart with their forests. The public lands are not being taken care of. So California...
Climate craziness on full display in LA, where Mayor Eric Garcetti is begging people to turn down their air conditioners while a heat wave scorches the city with temperatures as high as 120 degrees. The mayor getting mocked for tweeting, "It's almost 3 p.m. Time to turn off your major appliances, set the thermostat to 78 degrees, turn off excess lights, and unplug any appliances you're not using." Greg, I mean, this is embarrassing. They can't open salons. They can't.
I almost dominated that entire team. That was a great battle. 21 kills, no deaths, 3 assists. 5 out of 6 players dominated. I'd say I did pretty good on that battle. Sorry, it was a fun one. I'm not trying to be mean. I do have a lot of fun with this game. So much fun. connection lost.
Anybody who watches my show knows that I have a fundamental disrespect for Hillary Clinton. But even in her darkest hour, in the face of the emails from the State Department, even she didn't do what I'm going to report on today. Her emails were delivered pretty much intact. 33,000 national security violations of her emails, each one carrying a minimum sentence of 5 years. Now, she's like Teflon. She walked away from it, but she didn't destroy the evidence. Oh, yes, the Awan brothers did for Deborah Wasserman Schultz, who should have been arrested for obstruction of justice, and she was not. But we have a new case now that makes Hillary look completely honest. My name is Dave Hodges. I'm the host of the Common Sense Show. We are the show that is freeing America one enslaved mind at a time. We're brought to you by Noble Gold. And join me. I went from advertiser to happy customer. You need a Noble Gold IRA. Why? Because if you don't, your IRA is going to go down the tubes. This economy is collapsing in front of your eyes. Do you see the ground rolling up in front of you? That's right. Your businesses are going out. If you work for a small business, have an IRA, it's done. You can count on that for sure being done by the end of the year, but some of you are on the verge of losing it because you've lost your job. They benefit, you don't. Noble Gold's IRA will be backed by gold, and gold's held its value for 6,000 years. And for a little incentive for you to see the light, they've created this, I have this encased here, with this beautiful silver coin, 5 ounces. This thing's worth a lot of money, and it's an Apollo 11 commemorative. Oh, it's just beautiful. So you notice I put it right away in the casing here to preserve it. And I'm hoping this will be a generational gift. Son, grandson, great-grandson, I'll never see it there, but I'm hoping that's where this will be beautiful. But I would do the Noble Gold IRA even without this inducement. Why? Because these people are good to work with. If you have assets to protect, and it goes beyond just the IRA, but if you have assets to protect, you need to give them a call, just like I did. 877-646-5347. That's 877-646-5347. My, what a wicked web we weave when we seek to deceive. Isn't that right, Mueller? And what did they do, Mueller, your people like Wasserman? What did they do? What did Weissman do? I mean, this is incredible. Their phones were subpoenaed for evidence in the Spygate investigation. And what did they do? They wiped them clean. Hello. That's prima facie evidence for obstruction of justice. We don't even need to have any additional evidence brought in. They've convicted themselves. If this isn't met with indictments from a grand jury, quickly, before the election, then this investigation is phony baloney. And I've accused it of being that already. When they were giving a walk to Brennan, who was the mastermind of the Steele dossier, and that was the impetus for the phony collusion, delusion investigation about Russians with President Trump. When they let him walk, well, I said, there's going to be no investigation. But see, now, another bit of evidence has come forward. I mean, it's like God is giving us all chances here to make this right and have justice rule the day. Are we going to be a nation that's a rule of laws? Or are we going to have the Democrats continually have Teflon and they never are brought to justice? Right now, Mueller should be indicted for obstruction. Right now, there's no question. And every one of the people who had their phones deleted or deleted themselves, they should be indicted for obstruction. That's all I have to say on this. If this doesn't happen in short order, then stop the investigation, President Trump. Stop wasting our money on BS. That's it for the Common Sense Show. Please share this far and wide. Give us a thumbs up. Look at thecommonsenseshow.tv. People say to me, Dave, why do you get after the left so much? Isn't there anything that you like about them at all? Well, yeah, I do. Of course I do. They're my fellow human beings, and I love them for that. We're all children of the same God. I love them for that. I find their ideas dangerous to my safety, health, and well-being. And my belief in Jesus puts me on their bad list. My belief in the Constitution makes me even worse to them. And some people are so extreme on the left that they want to do away with people who have those two beliefs. So that's a little bit about why, but there is something that I am totally in agreement with the left. They are all into wealth redistribution. They want to take what this guy has earned and take it and give it to somebody else so that somebody else will support their rise to power in the coup that they're performing against the United States of America. I support, on a limited basis that I'm going to explain, their notion of wealth redistribution. And you're going, oh my gosh, Dave, you're going socialista. I think there could be a song, going socialista, going socialista. But I am in this one instance, but please allow me the courtesy of an explanation, because I think you'll go socialista with me too on this one point. My name is Dave Hodges. I am the host of the Common Sense Show. We are the show that is freeing America one enslaved mind at a time, and we need your help to spread the word. So please, right now, hit that like button. Get ready to share at the end, and subscribe if you haven't. Hit that notifications tab. We're brought to you by healthwithdave.com. People would say, Dave, you look better, feel better. Well, went to the gym tonight with my son. Hooray, hooray. And his workout went about 10 minutes longer than mine. I went and sat on the couch. He actually had to wake me up to go home. Yeah, I know. It's age plus. I really did work out hard. Right here, I got that stamina that I didn't have, 8, 10, 12 months ago, because I'm putting extra collagen in my system. By the time you're middle age, you lose about 50% of your collagen. And it shows up. Bad hips, bad knees, droopy eyes, wrinkles really noticeable, hair falling out. And those things can start to reverse if you get collagen replacement. This is a good one. A lot of them out there are fake. If you go to healthwithdave.com, oh, by the way, too, there's a huge discount. But I'll let you look it up and discover it. But there's a medical expert there that will tell you, hey, this is why this thing works so well. Healthwithdave.com. Okay. I sometimes I look for common themes in the stories I'm going to do, but this is easily the most radical, because I'm going socialista. That's right. I want wealth redistribution. And I have mentioned this before, and people are like, oh, thanks, Dave. What's next? What is it about this idea that no one wants to listen? I'm about equality. And I'm about equality for all people. This is a colorblind issue. You see, when we went into, we must shut you down, 2 weeks, shut you down for 2 weeks, became 6 months. But they declared something I've never heard in the Constitution. This business is essential. This business is non-essential. This business is great. We need this business. If you open this business, you're going to jail. Particularly if you're a cute blonde that has a salon in Dallas, you're going to jail. Oh, why is it this business can sell trousers and this small business can't? This big box store, Walmart, Target, Costco business right here can sell all types of consumables, and their small business competitors are non-essential. I must have been absent from government on the day that they taught the Constitution, and they said, there are some exceptions. You'll have essential businesses, and you'll have non-essential businesses. Gee, where was I on that day? Maybe I had the flu or some kind of virus and had to stay home, and I missed that day. See, I didn't realize there was a pandemic exception to the Constitution. So we all did our duty, right? We obeyed our government. Yes, yes, we did. Okay, so why is it that these people get to profit on these people's misery? Why did this market share here 100% had to go over here to the essentials? Why? Why did government get to decide who won and who lost? And these people's lives over here are destroyed. What is it now? What is it? 58% of small businesses are screwed. And they're saying by end year could be 75% are gone. They're living on borrowed time. Why is that true for these guys? And these guys over here, hey, order me another Rolls Royce. place. Boy, this is good. I can take my kid to a golf tournament in Hawaii. Over here, we're going to have to go move in with Mom. Sorry, honey. Why? So here's what should happen. This is where Dave Hodges is going socialista. These people here should have a baseline of profits for the previous year, for the time that there were the essential business. And these people here who shut down doing their patriotic duty, believing they were helping their country, while someone else is profiteering on their misery, these people here should have to pay the difference between this year's profits and last year's profits. And they're up as much as 22%. Did you know that? So you take 22%, or whatever that number would be, for each big box store business that was essential, that we could not live without, and you take that profit differential. I'm not saying take money and steal from them. I'm just saying they should not be allowed to profit on everyone else's misery. And you take their money and you equally distribute it right here in an across-the-board stimulus that doesn't touch the hands of Congress. Because if you do, Congress is going to put all kinds of $5 million for Nancy Pelosi's Fine Arts program at the Kennedy Center. Yeah, that's what will happen if you let them touch it. What do you think about that idea? See, that's wealth redistribution. It's just like the left. When they get into power, they're going to want to steal what I have to give to someone who supported their rise, and I have no say about it, and I'm working for the other person now. It's okay if the left does it, right? But see, this is where wealth redistribution is warranted, because these essential businesses should never have been allowed to do what they did, or these businesses should have been open. You see, here's what I would have proposed. If we really had this major crisis, why is it okay for these stores to be open? Didn't COVID go into Walmart? Oh, no, of course not. But it went over to Joe's Trousers? Well, of course it did. What we should have done was curbside pickup for everything. Everything equal, everybody equal under the law. Do I get an amen? Do I get a like? That's what should have happened. Everyone should have had to pay a proportionate share of sacrifice to the overall good. Why is that such a radical idea? I don't get that. Do you get that? Please explain that to me. And no, I don't want this to be a permanent part of my economic philosophy. I do not believe in wealth redistribution, but I do when it's unwarranted, and I do when the government acts like the sheriff of Nottingham and steals from people who actually are working for a living and gives it to the preferred box stores. And people say the government doesn't do big business with Walmart. Who are you kidding? I think this is an idea that needs to be championed. And I think people should talk about for next year we withhold our taxes until we see some reparations, some economic reparations due to this unconstitutional essential versus non-essential business. Any feedback here, ladies and gentlemen? Give me some feedback, please. But I've had enough of this crap. I truly have. I mean, how does Mark Kelly, right, the beneficiary of Tucson $15 million generosity to bring 400 jobs to his plant, he brought 100, then he started the layoffs. Oh, and did I mention the money came from, other money came from communist China, his seed money? But he got $1 million in stimulus money. This multimillionaire, Mark Kelly, ex-astronaut, ex-Navy pilot, who by that virtue could do no wrong. That's what the commercials tell us. He would never do what people are saying he did. Well, he did it. It's a matter of public record. And he got $1 million stimulus? Are you kidding me? And see, that's money that should have been going over here to our friends that lost everything. Multi-generational small businesses, gone. Kids' hope of going to college, gone. And when they lift the moratoriums on rent and mortgage payments, gone. Why isn't this idea getting traction? Why are we letting the government be the sheriff of Nottingham? Where's Robin Hood when we need him? That's it for the Common Sense Show. Check us out at thecommonsenseshow.tv. Like us on the way out. Subscribe. We'll see you back here next week. Oh, if you don't want to miss the interviews that are coming up, like the one I'm doing with a gentleman and Da-da-da, da-da-da. I mean, if I were deaf and couldn't speak, I just conveyed the whole message, I think, in 2 gestures. That's right. ESPN has to be dumber than a box of rocks. They don't get it. They absolutely don't get it. You wouldn't believe what I just saw on a clip. I actually had recorded something because I wanted to see how woke they were becoming on ESPN. So I thought I would catch SportsCenter after the first debut of the NFL football on Thursday night. And I was just beside myself with this. It was amazing what I saw. I'll do it again. Da-da-da, da-da-da. We're going to talk about ESPN and how they have no common sense, no logic. I just would like to give them a free subscription to everything I do. They need common sense over there at ESPN. They are going to go out of business. They don't get it. They are now going to be the next target of America's wrath. My name is Dave Hodges. I'm the host of the Common Sense Show. We are the show that is freeing America one enslaved mind at a time. And we're brought to you by one of our most popular products. This thing is just on fire. Has been. I get all kinds of communications from people saying, I love this stuff. I do too. I feel like I'm benefiting from it. Let me have a little ego here in my latter days, okay? But anyway, this right here, healthwithdave.com is what we call it. It's 5 types of collagen combined that pushes back the hands of time because it does collagen replacement. No, it's not the potions, it's not the shots, it's not the stuff that doesn't work. This is the stuff that works. In fact, if you go to healthwithdave.com, you'll have a medical expert there that will give you a medical explanation about what's going on here with this product. And wait till you see the discount. I'm going to keep that secret because I want you to go look it up. You're going to go, oh my gosh, how can they do this? This is an incredible price, Dave. Yes, it is. Healthwithdave.com is the place to go. All right. At the Kansas City Chiefs, they had about 17,000 people able to attend the game. And they started with this woke social justice stuff. And I've said it, and I've said it again. Even with people who might agree with what's being said and what's being portrayed, they don't go to a football game to see this. I don't put down, $140 for a ticket to go sit out there and have someone give me their damn politics, even if I agree with them. I mean, this is the attitude of most of America. And so they started this woke stuff before the Kansas City Chiefs game, and it was boom, boom, and the whole crowd was doing it. It wasn't just a few hundred people over here. It was the entire stadium. Boom! They don't get it. The NFL, this is why it's going to be not for long. Hey, you guys in the NFL, do you know in the early days of your sport that people had to get a job in the off-season because they get paid that much? That's where your league is headed. And you're not going to be playing in these huge stadiums because people ain't going to come and see you. The 16,000 that were there because of social distancing is going to be your permanent crowd if we ever get past this stuff. Now, here's where ESPN comes in. Dumber than a box of rocks. Listen, if someone is getting their butt kicked over there, you don't walk right up and get in the middle of it and get yourself smacked in the face. I actually saw that in a college basketball game. When I was a freshman, there were 2 teams playing in a tournament before we were going to play. And I'm sitting there watching as we're getting ready to take the floor. And there's about a minute to go in this game. These 2 guys square off at each other. And this one guy walks in like he's going to be the peacemaker. Bam! Oh, man. They had to bring the ambulance onto the basketball court. That's how bad it was. You don't ever walk up into someone else's stuff. That's what ESPN just did. ESPN came on, and right after the game, well, the season kicked off tonight with a victory by the Kansas City Chiefs as they scored 31 unanswered points. Some such thing. But the highlight of the night might not have been what was played on the field, but rather what went on before the teams took the field. In a display of social justice, the fans air their disrespect. How dare they? How dare they stand up to legitimate political protest? How dare those fans boo? And they started on the fans. Da-da-da, da-da-da. Unbelievable. Does anyone at ESPN have a producer who has any common sense? You just got the football team's home crowd kicking your ass before the game, and then you come on at ESPN and you make the same mistake. People don't want politics at athletic events. Unbelievable. Completely stupido. And you know, LeBron James is using the NBA for his run in politics. Mark my words. Mark my words. He'll come back in a couple of years. He'll say, man, Dave, you were right. And the year he retires, he's going to do it. He'll serve an apprenticeship somewhere. You know, he's good friends with Obama. I don't know if you know that or not. Obama talked him into striking against his own sport that nobody was watching. But anyway, LeBron is wrecking his sport. But he doesn't care. He's got his money in the bank. And he's going to take his attitude and run for politics. He's not going to go anywhere with it. Look at his face. He's always got a scowl. He's always angry. Am I right? Nobody votes for someone like that. People say, gee, what about Trump? He does that. Yeah, but he makes you laugh, too. And he makes up nicknames for people. And they're not really clever, but they're funny. And they're silly. And it shows a human side. LeBron is just 100% like an attack dog. Da-da-da. Da-da-da, and ESPN follows suit. And they're all going to be woke, and they're all going to be broke. We don't want to see your crap. We'll play this out on the political fields, okay? All right? We'll play this out on the political fields. America wants to be united now. They are tired of the division. They don't get it. And I think, honestly, both candidates for the presidency are hurting themselves with their divisiveness right now. Trump is a little less, what Trump is saying is true. What Biden is saying is nonsense, because Biden's accusing Trump of the stuff he's doing. Oh, he's encouraging violence on the streets. Oh my God, I can't even believe he had the nerve to say that. And the people are looking at this and they're going, whoa. Oh, but the polls are telling a different story. That's another story for another time. But ESPN, LeBron James, the NBA, the NFL, oh my gosh, please, please. What a bad business model. Someday, in an economics class, 10 years from now, professors will be teaching, this is what not to do when you have your business model and you're trying to maintain it. That's it for the Common Sense Show. Watch out for the CommonSenseShow.tv. We are setting records. We're kicking butt, taking names, and you can come on and join us and be part of the kick butt generation where we're taking no crap. I'm serious. We are taking no prisoners whatsoever. The CommonSenseShow.tv. Hit that subscribe button. Like us on the way out. Please share this, okay? Because I want people to know when they look at ESPN, go, I don't like what they're saying. I don't even want them on, honey. Who else is on? Nothing. Turn the TV off. Good idea. Good night.
That will change your life. You know what I mean? Watching somebody die.
The pandemic has triggered a spike in drug-related deaths across the U.S., including those caused by opioids.
The unintended consequence of this lockdown in my life is that people are dying from it.
This Florida county has been hit hard. Here, overdose rates have doubled this year to date compared to 2019.
Addiction doesn't just affect the addict, it affects the families.
The addiction crisis is killing people and ripping families apart.
We're not doing enough, you know? It seems like it's never enough.
So what are the consequences of this pandemic on those struggling with addiction? And why is lockdown having such a deadly effect on addicts?
Pasco County is largely a rural county, and it's not a very affluent county as a whole. This neighborhood is mostly rental properties, mostly transient. You take away whatever income they had, $7 or $8 an hour at a restaurant or any service industry job or construction, and now you have really a perfect recipe for people to struggle. These were the ones that were hanging by a thread already. They were vulnerable before the pandemic struck.
Kevin's ex-partner, Missy, was unexpectedly left without any support during the pandemic.
I got a call from her nephew, and he told me on the phone his aunt had overdosed. She's dead. We have an 11-year-old son together, so my first immediate thought was, how do I explain this to a kid that thought his mother was a rock star? Given her addiction and her struggles, he loved his mother so much, and she loved him so much.
Felt terrible. I honestly thought it was a joke at first, and as they kept telling me that it was true, I just slowly started crying. She was my mom. She helped me with stuff. She was smart.
Kevin says during the outbreak, Missy was in jail, waiting for a prison sentence for selling crack cocaine.
She was writing me letters telling me that essentially you were right. I have psychiatric issues I'm going to deal with. I'm going to get back into church when I go to prison. Missy had all the hope in the world for the 17 and a half months she was about to do, and she was looking forward to doing that time and then coming back and being the Missy that we all knew when she was sober for 5 years.
I've lost her before, and she was finally back, and we even made plans for the next weekend. We've always been talking, and how much she loved me, and how much she regretted leaving me.
Because of COVID, some nonviolent offenders like Missy were granted an early release.
The worst thing that ever happened to Missy was that they let her off of her prison sentence. She was taken out of a protected environment of jail, and she was put into a hopeless and helpless situation for somebody looking to recover. No job, no meetings, no church, no income. You got to do what you got to do to eat and get high and wait this thing out.
Florida's opioid crisis has its roots in the mid-90s when prescription drugs like OxyContin hit the market.
Florida was the epicenter for the pill mills before they shut them all down. By the time they shut them all down, poorer neighborhoods like Holiday were inundated with opioids.
In 2010, the state was home to over 1,000 pain clinics that sold nearly 90% of OxyContin in the U.S., earning Florida the name Oxy Express. Ariel Hart struggles with addiction. She says she's witnessed 3 overdoses in the last 2 months. We're so good to see you.
It's been a long year. It's been a long year.
But it's all right. You look great.
Thanks, yeah.
I'm not doing too bad. Samantha is a former addict who is now dedicating her life to helping other people with addiction. She met Ariel while running a 12-step program.
This is a different situation than it used to be. You know, it's dangerous. People are dying, especially with the shutdown. There's no meetings, there's no churches, there's no support, there's no... What do? And then you're going to flush a bunch of money into the system. Guess who just got rich? Dope boy fresh.
Ariel says that the pressures of lockdown have led some to spend their stimulus check money on drugs.
And the stress level is higher, and it's everywhere. You know, like, it's everywhere. It's a form of currency. I come from a really good family and a good name here in town, and for all intents and purposes, like, my childhood was great. My mom was addicted my whole life, though. I would do any opiate that I could get my hand on. I was spending upwards of at least like $150 a day. But I'm grateful now to have battled addiction myself because it gave me an understanding of like what she was going through, and that it wasn't just me, you know, like it wasn't that I wasn't a good enough daughter. It was just that she was fighting a battle bigger than herself.
So now that you've been out, and you've been struggling, you've been out here trying to make it, right? And you're in the game. You're back in the game. How has Ariel been keeping herself sane?
I haven't. I've been insane. I haven't. I've been insane. Nobody thinks about it. I haven't heard of one successful drug addict, drug dealer that's alive and not in prison.
Despite the odds, these women are fighting for their recovery. Jennifer set up this sober living home just weeks before the pandemic.
I'm an addict. I obsess over things. We're confined in our apartment. and there's only so much you can clean, right? So you clean, and then you come back through, and then you start looking, you start assessing, and it can get really, yeah, because you're just here. So,
and this past week, we lost like 2 or 3, and I don't
This
know anybody, this week that even contracted the virus,
No,
right?
I don't know anybody that has the virus right now.
Right.
The whole world gotta wear masks. The whole world has changed. You gotta stay indoors. All this. Yet there are all these people out there who are fighting for their lives, losing their lives to their addiction. But it's isolation that doesn't. So where's that epidemic at?
Thank you, Jesus, for today. Thank you for all of the women here, Lord. Thank you for forgiving us of our sins, God. Thank you for providing Anchored in Recovery. Thank you for loving us, Jesus, and never giving up on us, God. I was not going to close. I would much rather stay open and die of the coronavirus than active addiction. As of June, 30 to 40 million Americans lost their jobs due to the pandemic. Leslie Ingram also lost her home. She couldn't find a place to stay with her kids, so the family had to live separately.
I've never been without my kids. Never. And to be pushed to the point to where I couldn't even have them under my roof. I didn't even have a roof. And it was easier to walk into a trap house, you know what I mean? I don't have to worry about going to sleep if I just don't sleep. You know, I don't have to worry about being hungry if I don't eat. And that's the hard truth of it. Because you want to escape. You want to escape the pain. You want to run away from it. You can't face that kind of thing.
Leslie's kids supported her through the darkest moments.
I was afraid. You know, I finally broke down to them and I was like, look, you know, I broke down and I was real and I need help. And they said, Mom, get it. You know? They were there to see me off. They were there when Jim came to pick me up.
Me and my brother kind of sat outside. We cried for a good hour after she left because I don't really have that much time left of my childhood and just want to make the best of it.
I am sorry for putting our family through everything that it's went through. Since I've made this choice, our family's gotten stronger and closer in a sense, and that I don't want that to change ever. I think you're amazing and I think you're beautiful.
Peer support groups are fundamental to recovery, which is why Kevin had such a hard time closing the 12 Steps program he's been running for over a decade.
You know, instead of just being friends, we became like family. We initially thought that we wouldn't shut down our 12-step programs regardless because that's how important it is. Fast forward a month or two when my phone starts ringing and people are dying. Now, they're not just dying of a COVID virus, they're dying of overdoses and they're dying of suicide. There is a hopelessness that comes along. At that moment, I can tell you, you feel powerless.
Tonight, Kevin will open the doors for his recovery meeting for the first time after being closed for 5 months.
There was an energy and an excitement to being back here again tonight. I'm really looking forward to it. The timing couldn't be better to be filming tonight. Then, of course, we have to worry that does anybody show up? I mean, are people so used to...